Hey Parkway, welcome back to another month's edition of the Parkway Pulse, where each month we take time to look back and to celebrate what God has done, but then also to look forward at what we're praying for God to do in the upcoming month. And when we look back on the month of May, it was an exciting month as we dove into our series called Come Back to Me, looking at the minor prophets and really looking at God's heart for his people and drawing them back to himself and his continual call that he has. And I hope that you were encouraged, but also challenged by this series, because I know I was. But also, as we look at the month of May, we had on Sunday, May 18th, our Senior Grad Recognition Sunday, where we as a church, we believe in the next generation and not just having them kind of off on the sidelines, but launching them into what God has in store for them. In fact, one of the things that we always pray for our seniors is that God would place them locationally and vocationally at the most strategic spot for his kingdom and his glory. And that's what we were praying for and hoping and preparing for God to launch our seniors into that. Now, speaking of the next generation, I'm so excited that we've, by God's grace, been able to bring on Keegan Allen to work as a pastoral resident, where he's going to be working in our student ministry, but then also in a number of places here at Parkway, because we have a long-term vision of continuing to raise up leaders in our midst to see them as church planters down into the future. And so as we continue to look towards our 2030 vision of planting 3 more churches, raising up 30 missional communities, and having 300 everyday missionaries, we see Keegan helping us lead the way, not just here and now, but also in the upcoming generations. And so we're so excited to have him on board with us. Now, as we look into the month of June, I'm so excited about the brand new series we're starting called It's Messy, where we're going to be studying through the book of 1 Corinthians. And when we say it's messy, it really is. The church in Corinth was an absolute mess. But one of the beautiful things that Paul does is he helps apply the gospel to everyday life in a messy church. And so we know that God's grace is sufficient to take broken people and reform and transform them into new people in Christ. And we're going to see that happen in the church in Corinth, and pray that God would continue to do that here in us at Parkway, so that we can continue to be a people who are radiating genuine life in Christ. Now, speaking of the month of June, not only do we have this great series, but it's the month of June, Parkway, and you know what that means. It means it's great adventure time. We've been talking about this for a while now. You know that this is the heartbeat of our church, and especially over the summer when so many churches tend to wind down ministry, we want to ramp it up, because we believe it's an incredible opportunity to reach people with the gospel. And we do this through the Great Adventure. There's so many different ways for the whole church to be involved. You can go right to our website and find a way to get plugged in. But as you know, this is a phenomenal time for us as a church to really be about our mission of together leading people to multiply genuine life in Christ. And why do we do that? Because God's given us a big vision, and that vision is to reach every man, woman, and child here in Greater Austin and beyond. And this is how we do that, through things like the Great Adventure that we're all invited to be a part of, to not just sit on the sidelines, but to actually get involved in the game of what God's doing right here, right now. And so I can't wait to see what God's going to do this summer through Great Adventure. And as always, I want to thank you, Parkway, again for your continued investment here at Parkway, whether it's with your time, your talents, or your treasures. Thank you for giving of yourself to partner for the sake of the gospel. And thanks again for tuning in to another month's edition of the Parkway Pulse. So let's continue to pray for what God's going to do in the month of June, and we'll see you next month.